Good evening again. I'm Chief Meteorologist Alex Kirchner as we have a severe wind threat rolling into Rockford. Wanted to break into coverage again and address that threat as it slides through. Just hit our TV station with potentially some 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. That's the main threat there. Meteorologist John Juergens is with me. He'll check on that tornado warning that is popping up to see if that's something that we need to be aware of through our backyard, but wanted to at least show off where we got some strong winds just now entering the city of Rockford. So right about where we've got that kind of darker green line, that is where the strong wind threat is, and we're looking at least 60 mile an hour wind gusts. That's enough to possibly knock down some tree branches, cause some power outages, cause some damage. It's now progressing through the west side of Rockford, just about to the Rock River. That's where we got the strong wind threat currently, looking at least 55 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts. So what we want you to do is get down to the lower level, if not to the basement, move away from the windows, be ready for damage to power lines, to trees, as well as windows. Get away from those structures as they move along, because that could get damaged in those 60+ mile an hour winds. So make sure, again, you're moving down to those lower levels if you're now in Rockford, if you're in Loves Park, McChesney Park, Cherry Valley, Belvedere. Got some pretty strong winds around the corner that could cause some damage to some of these structures. So make sure that, again, you're moving in that direction, because we here at the TV station just had some issues with our power, as well as could hear those winds really starting to howl. So we want to make sure that you are aware of that as these strong winds come through. If we could take a live look from our library camera. So this is on top of the Rockford Public Library building, looking towards the south to southeast, seeing some flashes of lightning off in the distance, as well as plenty of rain and wind. So definitely looking at those strong winds heading into Rockford right now, definitely causing some issues there. And in fact, our towers are off to the west, so if anything, this is kind of looking in that westerly direction, right into the teeth of that storm as it slides through. Meteorologist John Juergens has an update on that tornado warning that popped up briefly. Yes,
that is a tornado warning for the southern part of DeKalb County. So this is going to be something to watch out for areas near and south of the city of DeKalb. So the city of DeKalb is right here. So looks like DeKalb, the city of DeKalb, the campus of NIU, do not need to take your tornado precautions. This is further to the south, places like Waterman towards Hinckley and Big Rock. This extends into Kane County too. So this is a tornado warning until midnight for those areas. So if you are watching us in areas south of DeKalb, you want to take cover. You want to take that tornado action plan, move to the basement, the lowest floor, the most inside room. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and just protect yourself from any flying debris. And as we watch this area of potential rotation here as it moves off to the north and east into Kane County. So that is that brand new tornado warning that we had issued just minutes ago, Alex.
So we'll continue to monitor these severe weather threats on our streaming platforms, so join us for additional coverage there. Well, good evening again. I'm Chief Meteorologist Alex Kirchner. We are looking at 60 mile an hour wind gusts moving through the heart of our viewing area. Just got into downtown Rockford. Just went to the TV station too. We can hear the wind howling above us. Definitely caused some power flickers a little bit. That might be what you'll experience then over the next 30 minutes. If you're in Rockford, if you're in Belvedere, as well as towards Poplar Grove and Beloit, There is a possible tornado south of DeKalb near Waterman. We'll continue to keep a close eye on that. So far, that's been the only possible tornadic activity across our backyard. But the wind has been the big threat here. We're going to toss it over to meteorologist John Jurgens for an update on some of the gustiness that we have across our backyard.
Yeah, and it just passed through the Rockford Airport, and pretty much the latest information we have is a 62-mile-per-hour wind gust. So that is severe strength. The definition of a severe thunderstorm is winds gusting to 58 miles per hour. So we have that severe level criteria, the winds that just rolled through the south side of Rockford at the airport, again, 62 miles per hour. I'm also just looking at a report coming in just northeast of Byron that there was a 59-mile-per-hour wind gust there. So we are seeing severe level wind gusts now pushing into Winnebago County, and then eventually they'll be pushing into Boone County here in the matter of just a few minutes here. So it's going to be along the leading edge of this line here that's now pushing into the east side of Rockford. That's where we're going to be seeing the strongest of the wind gusts right now, kind of nearing that Rock Valley College area now, and then pushing further into Boone County over the next about 20 minutes to a half hour. We'll be pushing through Boone County. So this is going to be, the real concern here is along this leading edge where we have those locally strong wind gusts. I'm also on our Facebook stream of hearing people in Rochelle, especially a lot of reports in Rochelle saying power is out. So we are seeing areas of power outages up and down this whole line. And then, of course, as we take a look at that tornado warning there, that's an interesting look there that you see on the on radar there. I want to pull up velocity real quick there. Yeah, we absolutely do have some rotation there just to the south. And, of course, it updates right as I start to draw on it. There we go. Seeing some rotation there just to the southeast of DeKalb. So if you're in the Maple Park area and also towards the Cortland area, the Cortland that's right around where the DeKalb Airport is, really want to take this seriously there. That's an active tornado warning that is in place for southeastern DeKalb County there. So towards Cortland, Maple Park, you really want to take action if you are listening to us from southern and far eastern DeKalb County. That's the active tornado warning that we have in place. But up and down this whole line, we're seeing severe thunderstorm warnings in place for that risk and apparent measured wind gusts over 60 miles per hour, at least as of the last few minutes at the Rockford Airport. Alex.
Yeah, we've also seen from the National Weather Service, they're relaying reports from private weather stations, and there's been plenty of 60, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That's all lining up with the wind threat that's been issued or attached to these different warnings. So what we have noticed with this particular system is that the rain might get to you first, and then we got this wall of wind comes through, and you can kind of see that jagged line right through here, basically stretching from DeKalb right through Rockford and then approaching Beloit just past Monroe. That is that big push of wind where we could get those power outages. We could get this 60 to 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Might get a little blustery behind that, but that is where the damaging threat is kind of on the leading edge of those thunderstorms. So we're going to zoom in on a few spots. Who's potentially up next? You're looking at Roscoe Rockton, probably going to get hit with the winds quite soon here. Belvedere as well as Cherry Valley. Next 5 or 10 minutes, get ready for that blast of wind to come through and potentially cause some tree branches to fall down, potential power outages. Want you away from the windows, away from the roof level, get down to a lower floor as much as you can. We'll kind of go down that line, and I'll continue to point out that feature that our trained eye can see, and it's right through here. So this is where we're getting that severe wind threat. In fact, I'm going to zoom in a little further, a little closer towards the Roscoe Rockton area. So again, it's kind of right on top of your doorstep. I pull up the velocity tool. Maybe we'll be able to get that to pop up a little bit better. Basically, it's kind of right where that bright green and that dark green meet up. That's where we're seeing that push of severe winds into some spots. That's just now crossing 251, right on top of Roscoe. Not quite to I-39 just yet, but give it another 5 or so minutes, and I'm sure it'll be right on top of those locations. And then right through Cherry Valley, we're getting that push of severe winds. Not quite to Belvedere yet, but getting another 5 or 10 minutes. That'll probably be catching up with you. Give it another 10 to 20 minutes for Poplar Grove before those severe winds pass through that backyard. And we'll just kind of keep going down the line. Again, this is now past Kirkland as of right now. And as we get closer and closer to that potential tornadic activity, that is right in here. We're starting to get the radar to kind of kink in on itself. So that's, again, towards the southeast of DeKalb. So you don't have to take shelter necessarily in DeKalb, but if you're nearby, just make sure you're watching along for any updates on that particular tornado warning that we have in this vicinity. So I'll pop that up on the map right now. So Afton, Pierce, Virgil, you're under the warning currently. Sycamore, DeKalb, you're outside of that warning. So hopefully that helps when it comes to pinpointing just where we're getting these severe winds. All clears as of this point. Freeport, Stevenson County, western half of Ogle and Lee counties, you're outside of these severe winds. So it's Winnebago, Boone, DeKalb, eastern half of Ogle and Lee counties currently under the warnings. Same for all of Rock County. You're getting some severe winds close to you soon. So Beloit, probably about 5 to 10 minutes. Then those severe winds move in. Janesville a little later than that, probably closer to 10 to 15 minutes from right now. So again, all clears though. Greene County to Lee County, kind of the western half of Lee County. You're safe from the storms currently. Probably still getting some rain out of this though. As we pull up the radar, you can see that we do have some downpours and things in some of those areas that are outside of the severe winds, but you're still going to get some downpours for a little while. Probably take until at least midnight, 12:30 before the rain ends for your backyard. So we are live on our Facebook page. John, any viewers kind of wondering anything that we can address for them as we go through this evening?
Yeah, seeing a lot of reports of power out in the Paw Paw area and towards Mount Morris as well. So across Ogle and Lee County, seeing a whole lot of power outages in the wake of this thunderstorm complex rolling through. Also, some people asking about the tornado threat for specific areas. The only spot that we're seeing any kind of tornadic rotation is on the far eastern section of DeKalb County. So areas east of the city of DeKalb, so places like Cortland towards Afton, and then just across the Kane County side towards Maple Park and Virgil. That's where we're seeing that active tornado warning in place until midnight. We are seeing no indications of tornadic rotation anywhere else along this line. Could that change as this pushes off to the east? Yes, but as of right now, not seeing any indications of any kind of tornadic rotation. I'll pull up the velocity tool and we can kind of just go up and down here, up and down the line here. So maybe seeing a little bit there north of Evansville into southern Wisconsin, but as we head farther down to the south, really just looking like a whole lot of damaging straight line winds. So now it looks like it's starting to push out of McChesney Park, now rolling into the Argyle area, towards Poplar Grove and Caledonia, towards Candlewick Lake, and then further on to the south. Where you see that change there, we're switching between radar sites. So we were just looking at the one in Milwaukee. We've switched over to the one in Chicago. That's the one that's closer to the map view that we're seeing here, and then that's where we're seeing the kind of rotation there, where you see those reds and greens coming together. That's a little close to Sycamore there, seeing potentially another one there just starting to cross into Kane County towards the Maple Park area, and that's where we have that active tornado warning. So really the only place that we're seeing the active tornado threat is in DeKalb County, not seeing any indications of tornadic rotation anywhere else along this line. It's really just a threat for damaging straight line winds, upwards of 60 towards 70 miles per hour, that is leading to downed trees. We've even seen trees falling onto power lines, tree branches onto power lines in the city of Rockford. And that's with the non-thunderstorm winds and with the winds associated with this line of thunderstorms now pushing east of the city of Rockford. So, and then like Alex mentioned, a lot of people wondering, when is this, when are we out of the in the clear for the severe weather threat, I should say. And we can pull out the warning map so you can see. Freeport, Oregon, Dixon, Forreston, you're in the clear. Amboy, in the clear of the severe weather threat. Is it raining? Yeah. Is it raining pretty heavily? A little bit. There could also be some rumbles of thunder, but the severe weather threat is over. As you can see where we have the active severe thunderstorm warnings, and it's really along that leading edge of the line where we have that front pushing through. That's where we're getting those 60, 70 mile per hour winds. Is it still pretty gusty behind this line? Yes. Anything severe? No. So that's going to be what we see here in terms of the where you see these warnings getting cleared out. The severe weather risk is over, and if anything, we're reaching 1140 now. This is looking pretty good that we're actually clearing things out a little bit sooner than we thought. We thought we could be doing this well after midnight. So as we head further on into the evening hours, we'll see this line clearing out, and we'll clear out these warnings, and then we'll all be in the clear. But we also have those strong wind gusts heading into tomorrow as well, not associated with any thunderstorms, but this is also the case, kind of similar to earlier today where we had those strong non-thunderstorm winds. We're looking at that again heading into tomorrow. So severe weather threat is over once that push of really strong winds rolls through. And then we just deal with some windy conditions not associated with thunderstorms tomorrow. I know, that's a whole lot to talk about here with this storm system rolling through as we head into tomorrow, Alex.
I just pulled up the ComEd outage map, John, and there are some isolated power outages. Thankfully, it's not a huge widespread thing. There was a cluster kind of close to Rochelle where I saw about 500 customers without power, but it's been pretty sporadic elsewhere. I keep looking around Rockford, and maybe they'll continue to trickle in after these storms pass by. People start to report things, but I haven't seen too many huge clusters of people without power. So, if you're watching or following along with us on the stream on Facebook, let us know, hey, I'm in this spot. I saw the power flicker a little bit, or I don't have power, or I do have power. Just kind of let us know as to what you're encountering when it comes to those power outage issues. But thankfully, this is not a huge widespread thing where everybody's out without power. It's a little more sporadic. So all sorts of rain on radar now. We've got that tornado warning kind of exiting DeKalb County. Want to pull up our turbulence tool because that has been very handy in tracking the severe winds. They're just into Belvedere as well as just past DeKalb, possibly right near Janesville and Beloit as of right now. If you're behind that line though, so most of the rest of us, those severe winds are dying down pretty quickly, so it's just that initial push that causes the power outage issues, may knock down some tree branches, and then you're kind of in the clear after that, even though the warnings may take a little while to clear out. So pulling up the velocity tool, you can see that kind of bright green, dark green line right where that intersects. That's about where we've been seeing these strong winds. That's been pretty accurate to track on radar. So I'll kind of go down the line again and give you an indication as to who's seeing the gusty winds now and who might be up next. So they're just through Janesville currently, probably past Beloit as of this point when it comes to those very strong winds. As I kind of pull up our velocity tool here, you can see that those bright green spots, they're coming in at potentially 40 or so miles per hour. Earlier, when they were going past the TV station, we had gusts up to 55, even 60 miles per hour. So you can kind of see once we get on the other side of those severe winds, things really drop off. Probably getting some strong winds into Poplar Grove currently, or they're just past you. That's about where we're seeing that line of potential severe activity. Belvedere 2 might be just past your area, and it's that kind of thin line that I'm tracking here, right where that green and bright green kind of intersect. That's about where we're getting those strong winds. And then it's just a little gusty and rainy behind all of that. So that severe wind threat really kind of chugging along out of DeKalb County currently and moving beyond that.
And Alex, I do have a little update on that specific segment of the line. We do have some people that have been watching or at least looking for updates for Kane County. We've just had a new tornado warning extended further into Kane County. So pretty much all of Kane County now under a tornado warning. This is in effect until 12:15. I just want to make sure that that's right. Let me get the update on that. Yes, 12:15. So pretty much they're looking for little spin-ups along this whole line. So if you know anybody towards Elgin, St. Charles, towards Aurora, and then further off into the south into Kendall County as well, towards Yorkville, they are also under a tornado warning now until 12:15. So if you know anybody, I know we have some people watching us from Kane County, but especially if you know anybody out there, they are seeing some spin-ups along the line there. So they are looking at that potential tornado threat getting further into the Chicago suburbs. So that's really the key update for the tornado threat is, again, staying off to our east, now pushing out of DeKalb County into Kane County, not seeing any other tornado activity across our local area. But again, if you know anybody in the Elgin, St. Charles, Aurora areas, and then south towards Yorkville, try to give them a heads up, give them a call, just let them know that, it's a Friday night, they may not be paying attention here. Let them know that, hey, they've got a tornado warning in place there until 12:15.
And John, an update about Winnebago County. Basically, if you're in Winnebago, Lake Somerset, Durand, you're now out of the severe thunderstorm warning. Rockford proper, McChesney Park, Loves Park, Roscoe, Rockton, you're still under the warning, but by our eye, that severe weather threat has just passed by you. So we're still seeing some of these warnings dropping off and getting cleaned up from the National Weather Service. But if anything, the severe weather threat is right about through here. So some of these areas may still be under a warning as a just in case as of right now, but our trained eye is showing those winds have kind of progressed along quite close to Kane County and then moving into McHenry County when it comes to that severe warning as of right now, or those severe winds. So that's about where we're seeing some of the strong activity. Just again, wanted to update you. You're watching us in Durand, you're watching us in Pecatonica, you're watching us in Byron. You're all in the clear when it comes to that warning right now. It's still Rockford proper and into Boone County where we've got warnings in place, but as we pull up some of our tracking tools here, this is right about where we're getting the severe winds, kind of right through DeKalb into Belvedere. I think a lot of Rockford itself might be slowly getting out of that severe activity as it continues to progress eastward here. So you might be in the clear very soon, I guess is kind of long story short there. Again, this is about where we're getting those severe wind gusts through some of these locations. So we're almost in the clear when it comes to the severe thunderstorm activity. For rainfall, though, that is one thing that's going to be with us for a little bit longer. Getting some at least light rainfall, maybe occasional downpours every so often, but nothing severe with that. Thankfully, if I pull up our rainfall tool, we're able to kind of see close to an inch of rainfall in total. Rain rate showing not much there. So there it is. It's kind of catching up. The data coming in, sweeping through. So I wanted to at least show that there may still be some downpours in some locations behind that severe wind threat, but thankfully the spots that aren't seeing the severe winds anymore will just be dealing with a brief downpour, some gentle rain, and then we should be wrapped up with all of that by the time we get close to midnight or so. So that is, again, where we're getting the latest on the severe activity. It's mostly off to the east as of this point, and plenty of rotation ongoing near Kane County, so that's where we're getting that tornadic threat. It's, in fact, completely out of DeKalb County right now, so Aurora, Elgin, heads up for you. You could be looking at possible tornadoes, so make sure you're getting to your sheltered spot as quickly as possible. Continue to keep an eye on the ComEd outage map. Updated total has about 2,500 customers without power as of right now as a result of those severe winds that went through recently, and they're still pretty blustery across our backyard. Any updates on that, John?
Yeah, and actually, I was actually looking at the ComEd power outage map at the same time you were, and actually it looks like the biggest outage at this point is almost right by our station. It's kind of between Winnebago and Pecatonica. It's centered on the Cunningham Road, and we just took another power hit here. That's a little amazing. So we're looking at that Cunningham Road towards the Pecatonica Road area, so around Seward. They're looking at about 700 customers without power there. So that's really where we're watching. That looks like where we may have seen the most widespread in terms of damage, especially to the power infrastructure, is kind of across western Winnebago County. So kind of a little irony there that as I look at the power outage map, we take another power hit, but that's going to be kind of the thing that we watch out for, is that we see these localized areas where we have some enhanced damage, whether it's downburst potential or that tornado potential like we saw in DeKalb County. Again, want to emphasize that tornado warning has been pushed out of DeKalb County. No longer tornado threat in DeKalb County. That has pushed into Kane and Kendall counties at this hour. But still, looking at some pretty strong wind gusts on the leading edge of this line as it pushes across northern Boone County and then also into western McHenry County. That's where we're seeing the leading edge of this thunderstorm complex moving through now. So as we move farther along here, we can take a look at places like Poplar Grove, seeing the strongest of the storm threats, as well as places like Capron and then further on west into McHenry County towards Marengo, and then eventually towards Harvard and Woodstock along the US 14 corridor. And then I'll tell you what, if we can take Max 1, if not, that's okay. But if we can take Max 1, there we go. Looking at this localized, kind of similar like what we had move through western Winnebago County, seeing that little enhanced cell on radar north of Poplar Grove across northern Boone County. This will be getting close to Capron here soon along the 173 corridor. So you can see how we have
Maybe
Route
potential
76
like downburst
here.
or something right there.
Yeah, that looks like kind of, it's similar to what we saw across western Winnebago County, like right when the storm was reaching our area. So we may be seeing a similar kind of event happening there. So we'll watch out for that potential for some power outages across northeastern Boone County and then potentially into northwestern northwestern McHenry County towards Harvard and Chemung, places like that along the 173 corridor. And then you see this flashing box here. That's a new severe thunderstorm warning for Walworth County.